Hello. This video is going to be about the temperature converter, and this is one of the assignments that's part of the lab, chapter 6 lab. So here on the right hand side in the browser, I'm just going to refresh this. So by default it's put in focus in the text field here. Also you'll see the radio button by default selected, checked, and that's set in the HTML. And also this is also set in HTML to both check this radio button and also put focus in this field. Okay. So besides that, we have this other field here, which is disabled. And this is basically our result. Okay. So let's go ahead and enter F degrees. So if it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit, we convert that, it'll be 37.78 Celsius. Now, obviously, you click on this, it's disabled. So, this is also disabled within the HTML. So, also we have these two labels here. These will change dynamically based on your radio button. So if you go ahead and click this, it will change. It changed this to enter C degrees instead of F degrees, and it says degrees Fahrenheit instead of Celsius. We'll just click back and forth again to see how that changed. And it also, when you're doing that, it also puts focus into the text field here for you to enter. So for Celsius, come back a little. All right. Some other functionality here. So if you enter not a number, and you go to convert that, you will get this error message, please enter a valid number. One thing I was just kind of noticing here, it's probably what we might want to go ahead and do here. So when we put something in here, we convert this, probably when we put focus back in here, we come back into this field, we probably want to go ahead and remove this result. So we'll go ahead and do that while we're in here discussing this. So, okay. So real quick here, let's look at the HTML. Not much here, but just wanted to kind of go over a couple different things in here. So I did go ahead and I'm using Bootstrap just to do a little bit of formatting. I have the labels and the input fields in a grid just so it lines up nicely in that. And just a little bit of formatting here and there just to make it look a little nicer. So here we come in here also, we got our radio button. So by default, it's Fahrenheit to Celsius. And so we have this checked, right? We have this check coming in here. What else do I want to show here? Also, I went ahead and put this autofocus on this. So when you basically come in here, by default, it's going to go to this text field. I refresh the page. By default, it's going to go in there. The other way to do this is you can do a focus within the JavaScript as well. And then also, like I said, I have the result disabled, so you can't change that. And I guess that's about all I really wanted to go through here in the HTML. Okay, as far as the JavaScript here is concerned, just want to kind of go over a couple little concepts as we're going through this, kind of a review a little bit. So here, different ways to get element by ID is to use the document element by ID, right? And then you want to make sure that you use just the name here, nothing else. And that's different than when you use the query selector. So when you use the query selector for an ID, you always want to put the pound sign first. If you're getting something other than that, it's going to be different, right? So if you're going to actually, to get like a list of a whole bunch of things, you want this to be selector all. And so like if there was a whole bunch of elements that had a class name, and this dot would be for a class name, this would bring back all of them. If there's only one on the page, it'd actually bring back an array of one. Okay. And then also you could also do bring back all div tags, right? So this would bring back all the div tags, and so this would be an array. Let's go back to the way this was here. So another thing I wanted to mention about this, so, you know, like I said, these are going to bring back the same thing. They're going to bring back basically the HTML tag. The reason you'd want to use query selector, you know, because it just, you know, has a lot more functionality, I guess. You know, if you wanted to do something generic where you got a generic method, like, you know, in the book we had that, usually using that $sign that go ahead and does the query selector, you know, so that, you know, that you could use something like that, which is fine. But you know, one thing about query selector is it's not as performant as get element by ID. Your performance will be a lot better using get element by ID. So generally, I think it's usually better just to use get element by ID. But you know, some people might have some other opinions on that. So let's just go ahead and get rid of that for now. So, you know, basically we're just pretty much getting all the different elements on that HTML page by ID here. Here's our first method called update labels. And basically when you select a different radio box, the radio button, it's going to change the text content of these labels to be the appropriate one, right? And then also we are doing this, we are putting focus back into this temp input. This temp input, which is basically our first box here. So whenever we change this up here, this radio button, it will put focus back into the text input box. Let's see, so that's about it there. And then so basically we have event listeners on each radio button. And basically when that changes, basically when you click it, right? So when this changes, you're going to update the labels, right? You're going to perform this function. So besides that, we have this convert temperature function, and we are taking our input value and we're parsing that and we're storing that in this temp value. Then we're asking if it's not a number. If it's not a number, we're displaying this message. And then else, we are clearing it out. Now, it's always important to remember that you really do want to clear this out. Because if you don't, so let me show you something here. So let's put in some bad data here and hit convert. So here's this message here. And then if we put in good data, valid data, you know, now it disappears. You don't have that message. But if you don't clear this out, so let's do this. If you don't clear this out and you put in some bad data here, and you convert this, so you got this message now. You come back in here and you change this again. It's still gonna have this error message. Right? It's gonna keep that error message. It needs to be clean, you know, it has to be cleared out. So this is how you basically reset that, by doing that. Okay, and that takes care of that. And then here we basically have an if-else statement. Basically, if the Celsius radio button's checked, here's the equation to come up with the Celsius, and then here's the equation for Fahrenheit. All right. And we're just doing to fixed on our result and putting it in the field, into the result field. And then here we just have our add event listener. And basically the add event listener is on the button, right? So if the button's clicked, if you click the button, then you convert the temperature. You call this function convert temperature. So not very complicated. Just wanted to kind of, you know, go over this if it helps some people out. So that's all I have for today. Take care, and we'll talk to you later.